Thank you. Thank you.
Recently, Sarah Reporters brought out two different audio tapes of Senator Dino Melaye bribing a judge. What's your view on this matter?
Thank you very much again. Well, Dino Melaye, with respect, with what is in the public domain, is a funny character. And so it's unfortunate that we have caliber of such person in the Senate. Because you see, bringing out Dino Dino Melaye in the Senate and showing me the person, somebody who puts on wig and gown and goes to the floor of the Senate, and the presiding officer could not ask him out, is unfortunate. It becomes a symbol of the Senate. In other words, Dino Melaye says that everybody in the Senate is like me. And the other senators are watching, believing that they are not bothered. They are. And so every Nigerian believes that the Senate is a pack of jokers. And it's very unfortunate. The Senate is supposed to be the highest level of legislative assembly in Nigeria. They are supposed to be people who have attained the best attainable position in their profession, whether law, whether medicine, whether accountancy, and then they ought to be role models for all of us. But what they are doing there is contrary to the expectations. And if they now present Dino Melaye to us as a representative, it shows that all of them are like him. That is the implication. When a senator speaks, he speaks decency, he speaks authority, he speaks the best that is available in statesmanship, in law, in politics, in public discourses. Dino Melaye certainly does not represent that, and it's very unfortunate. And I've listened to him a couple of times, and I felt so disappointed. And it's almost incredible. I thought it would be in some banana republic, certainly not in Nigeria. But that it happened in Nigeria, it's still something that is so unbelievable to me. And it's unfortunate. And coming from where it comes from, where I understand they have almost 600 professors, it becomes an issue, even for the people of that senatorial district. I don't know how he emerged. I don't know why he's from there. But I think that the leadership of the Senate and all the senators must do something terribly. If they can reform him, it is better for the whole Senate. If not, the Senate as an institution is being reduced, to Alawada Group of Company.
Let's not look at it. One of the machineries that the government has been using is the EFCC.
Yes, sir.
What's the problem with the EFCC? Do they have the legal framework or resources to actually prosecute?
I am not a functionary of EFCC, but I have my own perception about the EFCC, which may be wrong or right. But my perception is that I think EFCC is into many things at the same time, and it may be difficult to maximize outcome. I know that they always complain of lack of resources, inadequacy of resources, not absolute lack of, but inadequacy of resources. I know that they are doing investigation, they are also doing prosecution. I will love a situation where EFCC will concentrate on investigation, and another arm will now do prosecution. That will allow for more prosecution and more results. Because situation where you have conducted investigation, you have your own mindset. You are on site, this is what you discover. But the adequacy of the evidence that is available to you is another thing entirely. So an independent person, an independent prosecutor, or a prosecutorial body that is different from the investigation body can look at it more objectively, more dispassionately than an investigation body. The FCC has too much burden and pressure on it, whereas they have limited number of personnel. Even the ongoing trial that the FCC is conducting, you will discover that if one of their prosecutors will have up to 4 cases prosecuting. So the pressure is on him. And we have a lot of lawyers. So you can get hold of, serious, more, well, I don't want to say they are lawyers, they are very serious. Some of them are doing their best. But they are under pressure. Then let other lawyers also do the prosecution. That will help the FCC. Now, again, they are getting results on cases. But for instance, judges' cases, we have not seen any result. In fact, there was an instance of a judge who was accused of corruption, who is being tried, and the amount of money collected from his residence became a matter of dispute, even during trial. The prosecution said this was the amount recovered from the house. And the defense said, no, this was not the amount, this was the amount. And the court said, okay, count the money. And the money was counted, it was different from what the prosecution said and what the defense said. In law, there is a contradiction. And technically, the case is almost lost. Because by the end of the day, they are not even sure of what they are saying. They are the one who did the investigation. And they are the one doing the prosecution. And during investigation, you now give evidence, you discover 100 million naira in Judge's house. And then you are conducting trial. You now say you discover 100 million. That's okay. This is the money you recover. I say, yes. How much is it? You say, it's not 100 million. We have 9 or 98 million naira. So your case has a question mark by that fact. So what could have happened? Against that is within itself, EFCC itself. So all these things matter a lot. Again, there was a particular case too where it was said that a particular amount was lodged in the judge's account. Evidence was shown that that amount was not lodged because there is a limited amount that can be lodged per day into an account. So if you say more than that was lodged that day and evidence was shown that account was credited that day less than the amount you allege, again, you have a contradiction in the evidence, and that will go a long way, to make nonsense of the trial that are being conducted. So those are technical issues that will have to be looked to by EFCC. But I know that, like I said, EFCC has more resources than ICPC, for instance. Because ICPC said that they are not getting, budgetary allocation, more fund, and therefore it is impeding their performance. EFCC has more, is getting results, but I do not think that the way they are going about their matter, prosecution, is good enough. They should be more proactive. They should more rule of law and due process friendly. They will get more results when they do that than not following the due process. They will also do more not to burden their prosecutors with cases. Give a prosecutor one case. If he finishes that, you can give him another one. But if you give a prosecutor 5 cases and you want him to get result within time, certainly diminishing return will be the result. So that is on that.
We are looking at the issue of these recalled suspended judges. If you recall, so a couple of days ago, the NGC recalled 6 judges who are accused of bribery. This has been met with a lot of mixed reactions among the Nigerians. Some are hailed it, some are denounced it. What's your perspective? Was it a rash decision on behalf of the NGC?
I think with due respect, it's a very, very correct decision for NGC to have made, because the truth is that in the first instance, when the raid on the houses, on the residences of the judges were made, it was a stunning occurrence. Nigerians were surprised. Surprised in the sense that there's supposed to be separation of power. There is also to be a lot of dignity and respect accorded to judicial officers, not because of their presence, but because of the offices. And then when the executive suddenly decided to raid, midnight for that matter, it was a big surprise for me as a lawyer, and indeed for the Nigerian Bar Association, who, of course, a major stakeholder in the legal profession. It became an issue. And the president of the Nigerian Bar Association really stood to the occasion and did what was correct. Since some of them have not been arraigned, talk less of being tried, and one that has been tried to conclusion had the case pronounced upon to the extent that there is no case against him, the proper thing is to recall them. So recalling them, as a matter of fact, we were in Lokoja National Executive Committee of the Nigerian Bar Association last week, and the president did address us, and that address was unanimously endorsed that really the judges should be recalled. So, interestingly, the recall now came a day or two after the next meeting. So it was proper. You will recall that before now, some instances have been recorded where NJC attention was called to certain issue, but NJC was not forthcoming. Those are part of the explanation we had that gave rise to the raiding of the houses of the judges. But the bottom line is that, you see, when you raid judges' house without following due process, you are also, in a way, desecrating the judicial process. The integrity and sanctity with which the judiciary is known is, eroded one way or the other. And interestingly, the legal profession is also part of the judiciary, because it's lawyers that become judges. And judges, incidentally, occupy a position where they cannot speak for themselves. It's the bar that defend them, it's the bar that speak for them. And so the NBA inevitably finds itself defending the bench anytime that issue arises. It was not the proper thing to have done in the circumstances. Many Nigerians are supportive of the war against corruption, but they want to see results. They want to see successful prosecution. And when you have successful prosecution, then the war is won. But if you have prosecution and you are losing them, everybody gets disoriented. Everybody gets demoralized. Even the judiciary itself will not be happy, because at the end of the day, it is a wild goose chase, which is not the desired. And I know Professor Isesage is an achiever. He wants result. How do we get result in a situation that is very messy? It's patience, maturity, experience. And I know that he has a lot of that. That must be applied to the war against corruption. And we will smile at the end of the day if that is done.
Very sad.
God bless you.
Very much.
Thank you.